This is Ian. I've been an independent publisher and a seller on Amazon for more than 10 years, and I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the independent books that pass through my hands. Either I buy them, someone recommends them, or I otherwise learn about them. And I'm going to be talking about some of the things that are working and not working for these books that I'm seeing. And I can because I've been publishing for so long, I can kind of see the paths that other publishers are taking, and I'm also aware of some of the trends that are going on. So let's talk about this book. This is 1,000 Layers of Water and Clouds, A Tale of a Taiwanese Daughter. It's a really good book. It's actually a gripping memoir about an Asian American immigrant. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the choices that the author or the publisher made when they decided to put this book for sale on Amazon and other places. I did purchase this book. I learned about it on social media. It looked interesting to me and I purchased it. I'm glad I did. But when I got the book, I saw that there was a couple issues with the cover and other elements that could have been remedied at an earlier stage. And maybe some of you can learn from that. So the first thing is, when you are designing a book for publication, and oftentimes you need to make some choices about what will entice your audience to look at the book. And there's an old adage, don't judge a book by its cover. That's completely ridiculous in the modern age where people do judge a book by cover and first impressions do count. I'll also say that people often see the first time they see the cover is on Amazon, either the mobile app or on the desktop version of Amazon. And the first problem with this particular book, it's a pretty hefty book. The title, the cover page, when you shrink it small to like a thumbnail size, you can't see most of the details here. This image here, it won't be made out. This text here you won't be able to read it. You probably will be able to see 1,000 layers of water and clouds, but that's about it. The whole design elements will just be gone, will be washed out. I'd like to show you, by comparison, another book that I recently purchased. This is a reprint of The Running Man by Stephen King. And when this book is shrunk to thumbnail size on Amazon or any other marketplace, you'll be able to very clearly see the two most important elements: the name of the author and the name of the book. Note that the byline is bigger than the title itself. And these are really the two things that matter the most. The New York Times bestselling author, that's also important. But when this is shrunk down to thumbnail size, about that big, you'll clearly be able to see that. It doesn't even matter what this image is, like some footsteps running on a cobblestone street. That doesn't matter. All that matters is the information that prospective buyers will see when they open up their Amazon mobile app or their Barnes & Noble on a browser and are browsing through the many titles that are out there. And if they're already looking for Stephen King, that's even better, because this will really turn out. By comparison, this particular book, when it's shrunk down to thumbnail size, you can't really see anything. I realize that this is kind of a conceptual drawing of the author, kind of standing on the northern part of Taiwan as if it's like a ship looking out to the world. The clouds kind of relate to the title, but this conceptual stuff, it really doesn't make much of a difference these days. And actually, there's some books out there that don't even have any sort of imagery on the front of the cover. For instance, this is a book I purchased in a bookstore recently. I think it's shocking if you're kind of if you're an old school publisher or a reader, that, wait a second, there's nothing here except for this image of a raven, which has some significance to the book itself. It's all about the title of the book, the author, and then again, New York Times bestseller. Okay? The other stuff doesn't matter. So I guess the takeaway in terms of the front cover design, when you're thinking of a front cover design, don't overthink what the imagery and the symbolic meanings of the illustrations you have. Don't overthink that. Really, you have to make it easy for prospective readers to find the book on online marketplaces, whether it's Amazon or Barnes & Noble or maybe some sort of library app. They have to when they look at the cover, it has to just grab them right away. And these design elements don't really matter. Stuff like this, I see a lot of independent and self-published authors. They want to squeeze as much information on the cover as possible. And this is like a little kind of a marketing blurb. On the back, we see more of that. There's a very long bio. It's way too long. This description is too long, and then all the text, because the description is too long, the text has to be shrunk. So the designer just had to, was probably given a long description and a long bio and just had to squeeze them in. The only way to do that is to make the text smaller. This is a good photo. The other thing that I see here is the ISBN, the barcodes. One thing about when it says 9,000 like that, that means that no price was set for the book. This means if this were kind of carried in a bookstore and the clerk tried to ring up the book, no price would show up. And actually, this is a reason why some bookstores won't carry the book, because there is no price set. And this is also the hallmark of a self-published book. And some bookstores just won't touch self-published authors no matter what, which is unfortunate and it's not really fair. But kind of in conclusion, this is a really good book. It's unfortunate that the design choices that were made by the publishing team really don't work in the modern day of online e-commerce retail. And if it's, I'm not saying that we should try to ape exactly what the major publishers are doing, but they're doing things that they know will help convert browsers into buyers, and it would really help a lot of great books. Otherwise great books, if the cover design really paid attention to some of these elements, made it easier to see and spot in a very crowded field, rather than trying to, squeeze in a whole bunch of text and a lot of symbolic elements that really won't make much of a difference. This is Ian. If you have some thoughts about it, please leave your comments below. More information in the description and bio about how to contact me or learn more about me.